Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome to GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia, and that was my co-host, Keith, interrupting me per usual.
I would never.
You did.
I didn't.
You did.
No, I asked if you were going to start.
Well, I did, just a little later. I got to keep them. I was letting the listeners enjoy the tunes for a second, you know, kind of. Get into how does the tune go? You sing it pretty well. Whoa. There we go. That sounded like a Sesame Street character right there. Yeah. Like the little green man that comes out of the trash can. Not saying that you're trash.
What is his name? I mean, you are.
Okay. No, that's not.
You should hear the way that she talks to me when we're not on the air. It is
I'm super
cruel.
nice.
It is mean.
Absolutely not.
Making fun of the music that I like. She's like, how could you like this?
What? Never.
Yeah.
Never. We may have some disagreements in our music choices, but I feel like we're always able to find some common ground.
We can find some common ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Usually it's with movies, which is funny.
Yeah. So. We definitely are more, have similar movies.
Oscar the Grouch.
Oh my God, how did you actually remember that?
I was thinking about it from the moment that you said it. I was like, who's the one in the trash can? Gosh darn it. It's
Oscar.
not Elmo. It's not Fred
I cannot believe.
And Ernie.
Do you remember the vampire? Dracula?
Count Dracula? Or
is it Count Dracula?
It might be Countula or like.
I'm digging deep into my memory box right now. I'm like, I cannot remember. I'm shocked that you actually remembered Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar.
I'm impressed.
Or
Oscar.
Yeah.
That's
How many times do you roll the R when it's just one R at the end of a name? As many times as you want? Because I'm going to be like, Oscar.
Well, it's only one R, so you don't need to roll it.
It's just one flip.
It's just one flip. It's just Oscar.
Wait, no, but
well, I know.
You just did too.
I know, but it's like natural.
Why?
I don't know.
¿Por qué?
No sé. That like rhyme.
I'm going to learn Spanish so we can do these bilingual
Duolingo, there's
the
that
app Duolingo. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it works.
I actually had a friend using it. She did it like 5 minutes every day, and it was, a little bit helpful. It's repetitive.
That's true. And you speak fluently, right?
Yeah.
So I could practice when we come in.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
But you have pretty good pronunciation, when it comes to Spanish.
I've wanted to learn for a long time.
You should.
Yeah, it's just
actually a lot of non-Hispanics speak Spanish. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. A lot of.
It would make my life a lot easier. Mm-hmm. There's certain times where I definitely have interacted with a lot of Spanish-speaking individuals. I went to Colombia on a mission trip.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was there for how many days was I there? Just shy of a month, 25 days. I was in Colombia. I went to Bogota and Medellin.
Pablo Escobar's home.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then we went to this ocean village where apparently they said they had never had white people there. So
Whoa.
Yeah, and it was pretty remote. We drove for a long time, and the bugs were crazy.
Oh, I bet.
I doused myself in jungle juice, which is a DEET product that has more DEET than you're normally allowed to wear. And I still ended up with 50 different bug bites.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was.
It
was weird.
I hate
but it was fun.
Bites.
That place was called San Carlos.
San Carlos. There we go.
Yeah, we helped them build what did we help them build? I don't remember. But they wouldn't let we brought some women with us, and they wouldn't let the women do any physical labor. It was interesting. Yeah. So, that was just their culture. That was what they were used to. So, I think it was interesting for sure.
Definitely different from here. They're Go lift that, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Go lift that here in the U.S.
Yeah, they might get there. They might not. They might.
I definitely have
been.
Okay, so like in my old fitness studio that I used to do personal training at, I used to have to replace the huge water jugs. You know where people like get there and press? Mind you. Okay, I'm 5 foot. This thing, 5'2". Okay, I'm not a midget.
You're a little
but
over
I'm like
5'2".
Yeah.
But
this thing was like 5 foot, so like almost the same height as me. And having to lift that heavy jug of water, I don't know how heavy. Probably half my weight, if not. No.
Whoa! Hold up.
It was very heavy. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not supposed to like I know what you're talking about. I'm not supposed to like guess a lady's weight, but like there's no way that you only weigh like 50 pounds. That's how heavy those bottles are.
No, I feel like it was heavier. That's what I meant.
That's like we can look up how much a gallon of water weighs, and there's 5 gallons.
Okay, but it was heavy. That was my point. I'm not trying to be exact. Like obviously, it's not exactly my half my weight. And I'll tell you guys, I don't care. It's like 125, but it was heavy, and I had to
You're like
lift
a whole
that.
person smaller than me.
A whole person. Same with my boyfriend. Like he's literally like I'm literally half his height and half his weight.
He's 10 foot tall. He's 10 foot.
Okay, not 10 foot. But he's like
he's like 6'6", right?
No, he's not 6'6". He's like 6'2" or 3".
Okay.
6'2" or 3. But he's like 230.
He's 230 at 6'2" or 3. Okay, so
he's got size on him for sure. He
him.
For sure lifts some iron in the gym. Actually, I got to working out because of him because he'd always go and I'm like just sitting at home. I'm like I should probably like get to work.
And then you found out that you loved it, and then you were like,
and now I'm
going to
here.
go get an ASM cert, and
period.
That's great. That's awesome. That's
there we
super
go.
cool. It's always nice when you can be with somebody who gets like, I don't know, gets you into things that you end up really loving.
Yeah, but also, running is not an option. One time he took me on a run and I
is he a runner?
Definitely not a runner.
Oh, he is not, or
he's a runner.
Oh, okay.
I am not, but he took me on a run and I threw up.
How far does he usually run?
A lot, like in the hills, like in the Bay, where he lives. He lives kind of in the hills.
Bay, by the way,
right?
Which is super hilly. Just so anybody,
I know, yeah. So Bay Area,
not everybody's
California.
been to the Bay Area in California, Cynthia.
Right, I know. It's super hilly, how you said, but
yeah.
Anyway, you're about to say something before I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. So a gallon weighs 8.34 pounds. So if it was a 5-gallon water bottle, it would actually be almost half your weight. So you were not exaggerating, and I rescind my previous comments, and that's a lot for you to try to lift over your head, and I'm sorry.
It was a lot. Like I almost threw my back one time.
Like as in like you got mad and like wanted to
No,
pull
like
your
almost
back?
threw my back from lifting it.
You mean
like,
threw your back out?
Yeah, threw my back out. What'd I say?
Through my back.
Well,
this is very different statements.
Tomato.
Anyway. So are we going to actually get to it today?
Yeah,
are we talking about anything related to music, or are we just talking about boyfriends and girlfriends?
I know,
and all
and
the relationships in our life.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I got my girlfriend into working out too, so whatever.
There we go.
That's cool. Yeah. You're snapping.
I know. I hope they caught that.
Wait, have you ever heard of Tone It Up?
Uh-uh.
You don't know Tone It Up?
I don't know Tone It Up.
Karina and Katrina are from SoCal. They do these. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. They're like these super positive girls. They do like this aerobics. I feel like it sounds like I'm being demeaning. I'm not. Like they have a legitimately good workout program and great nutrition plans that they sell online, but it's like all like these aerobics classes online. They have. It's called Tone It Up. They've got like
not my
bikini booty blaster. And,
oh my god, all these cutesy names I can already
workouts.
Like imagine, but yeah, no.
I mean, like, hey, I've done a couple of them, and like.
You get a sweat on.
Yeah, my booty was blasted.
There we go. That's the whole point. Bikini
getting those
booty.
peach gains.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's so funny.
They know what they're doing for sure. So, shout out to Karina and Katrina. I don't remember. Anyway, one of them has a baby that is super adorable. My girlfriend follows them on social media, so I see like all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, no, anyway. I don't follow them.
So we're going to talk about music stuff now.
Right.
Yes.
So, music news.
Wait, random thing that I'm distracting you with.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Wow. Okay. I was like totally ready to listen too.
No, I'm just messing. Just fooling.
So I'm going to first drop the bomb on them right now. And then after the break, we're going to share more details about this. So Queen Megan Thee Stallion. Thank you for that drop. Keep going.
I can't go anywhere else.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the hot girl captain,
Wait,
Megan.
hold up. You said queen. Isn't Beyonce the queen?
She's the queen too. They're all queens. There can be multiple queens.
No, there can't. If there's one country, there's one queen.
They're different countries then.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
All right, continue.
Because Megan's queen too. So the hot girl captain, Megan the Stallion, can't drop new music.
HGC. Hot girl captain.
Okay, I was like, what did you just say?
HGC.
Oh my, HGC.
Yeah.
Free Meg, free the Stallion has been trending on Twitter.
I thought was that they had a megalodon in captivity. Free the Meg, like free Meg. I did not know.
No, it's her because, and I'll get into all the details as to why she can't drop new music, what's holding her back. Of course, it always has to do with the record labels, contracts, all that complicated stuff most of the time when it comes to artists and not being able to release their own music. So after this very brief commercial break, we'll give you guys on the deets regarding that.
Give them the rundown.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. Don't look at me like that.
I was like, hurry up.
Also, I'm waiting for the day that you finally interrupt me.
Oh, come. I gotta surprise you.
Yeah, I know.
When you least expect it.
Yeah, I'll just be getting comfortable and you'll just be like, boom! And it'll be hilarious and I'll laugh a lot.
Will you?
Yeah, well, I think the most fun part about giving people a hard time and making them feel awkward is when they do it back to you. I really enjoy that.
You do?
I do really like it because it's just fun. For me, that's how I show people that I like them or they're my friend is I kind of mess with them a little bit.
So if it was just awkward business, all right, let's do the show, then it's a bad sign. We are not friends.
Yes, absolutely. No, I don't I'm 0 to 100 when it comes to relationships. With other people, I'm like a puppy dog. I'm either gonna I don't know. I would describe myself as a golden retriever. It's do you like me? Do you like me? I like you.
A golden retriever.
I do that all the time.
Okay, if I were a dog, what breed would I be? I feel
Nah.
I'm my own, man.
No, you definitely. I'm gonna think about it and I'll let you know by the
Okay,
end
can
of
you
the
think?
podcast.
Don't, dude. Better not call me a Chihuahua.
No. I mean, that was my first.
Oh, that was your
obviously,
first? No.
Because you're shorter and.
But they're yappy.
I was just gonna say you're feisty, but not in a feisty way. If that makes sense. I don't know. You just don't. You're kind of like a poodle. If I'm being honest. Poodle. You could be the best dog to the right owner, right? And I'm talking about this as a dog, not in a weird, you know what I mean?
Right. I feel you. We're talking.
Your relationship with your owner could be the best relationship that anyone's ever had with a dog, but at the same time, you won't put up with much from anybody else. And you're real chill in the right situation, but when stuff hits the fan,
I can turn up.
Yeah, you can turn up, exactly.
Wait, have you owned a poodle? How do you know these characteristics of a dog, of the poodle?
I've met poodles. You might be a labradoodle, though labradoodles, you don't seem as well, you can be carefree, I think. I don't know you super well outside of this podcast, so I would guess labradoodle, if I was going to put
I like
put
poodle.
A label
I feel
on
like poodle's more sophisticated.
Yeah, well, but labradoodles are less... They're more accessible poodles. They're still sophisticated and they're hypoallergenic and they're cool dogs, but I don't know, they're just a little. They've got that
I'm the dog that you're allowed to sit on the couch, sitting up.
I would never let a dog sit on a couch that I owned. That is just gross.
No, I don't either. But I would be because I'm so neat and clean and.
Yeah, sure. If you were a dog, for sure. Yeah,
I'm not a dog.
Anyway, should we get back to
let's get back to what are we talking about again?
The Stallion.
Okay,
Cannot drop New music. Why not? Tell us.
I'm sad, okay? Because Hot Girl Summer is around the corner, and I need that new music to turn up to. Megan Thee Stallion claims that her past record label, 1501 Certified Entertainment, is preventing her from releasing new music.
So she's not on this label anymore?
No, she's signed actually with Jay-Z's label, Rock Nation.
Oh, okay.
So she spoke briefly on this subject in an Instagram live session a few days ago. Mm-hmm. And at one point she said that she didn't understand what was in her contract when she initially signed with the label, which she signed at the very age of 20. I mean, who really understands their contracts? Like, I don't even understand half the contracts that I sign with, like,
I know.
Like, do you even know? Like, half the time we probably sign.
She should have had a lawyer, but like, I doubt that she was in a place where she could even financially afford one.
Right.
Like, I'd have to know that whole backstory. That's just a kind of a stinky situation to be
shady,
in.
yeah. And this isn't like the first time that like we hear about these type of matters in the music industry, and specifically towards like women and, you know, wanting to reach success. All they see is really like this girl who's, you know, ambitious. She has talent, and
I don't think that they would take advantage of her just because she's a woman.
Well, a lot of times, but I feel like it's more prone to women. I mean, think of R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a prime example with all the girls that, like, you know, not saying this is an R. Kelly situation. I'm just saying this fact of like how girls or women sign like very like exploitative contracts without even knowing or not really knowing the terms of their contracts all the way through. It's not saying it's only to women, but I feel like it's more prone.
I think that's a cultural thing. I think that like when it comes to like women in those like professional roles, they don't have the same support system, right? So like a guy in the industry goes to sign something, like guys have crews.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, literally they have crews. So like there's a bunch of people out there to support them. And like when Megan Thee Stallion goes to sign something, I don't think Megan Thee Stallion has a crew, you know? Like, but she should. Yeah.
I feel like now she does, because she's like reached so like,
of course, an
immense amount of fame. So now, and that's what she realized. She said that once she signed with Jay-Z's label Rock Nation, that's when more details started to become clear with her. And she's like, wait, this is a real contract that I signed with Rock Nation. Like, what did I do with 1501? So there's like this whole complication going on with that, because she's trying to renegotiate her contract with 1501.
Right.
And in her Instagram live, she said that the label will not allow it, that as soon as she said the magic word, renegotiate, that everything went left, things went sideways, things went bad. And she just kept expressing her frustration, saying, you know, it's a greedy game. People don't really care about seeing you succeed. It's just all about money.
Well, I mean, it is called the music industry.
Right.
So if she went in thinking that there were going to be people who cared about like
she's 20.
her art.
I mean, she's 20. She's young. Like, at 20, I was super naive. Like,
I mean, let's talk about the fact that businesses can basically prey upon people as if they're adults when they're definitely not. Like,
right.
Male, female, whatever you are, at the age of 20, the likelihood that you've had enough life experience to make an independent decision, like, they should be required to have like legal assistance.
Right.
Even if you are an adult, quote unquote.
Right.
Like, because yeah, that company is basically just preying upon the ignorance of other individuals. And like, the unfortunate reality is that because women don't have as much of a support group when it comes to entering into these particular fields, they're going to take advantage of more frequently, because there's not a bunch of people there saying, we believe in you and we're going to lift you up. Like,
right.
Yeah. So like, people should be, I don't know. Like, I think that we're kind of like missing the point if we just say that companies take advantage of women. Companies take advantage of people who are ignorant, and because of culture, which we as individuals are responsible for, women aren't receiving enough support in this particular industry to get to the places that they want to get. So we as individuals in the industry should be more supportive and like put our listenership where our beliefs are, and like actually give these people who are being taken advantage of like an outlet, rather than, and the support that they need in order to enter into gainful contracts with enough money to have legal representation and know what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
I know. It's all
getting off my high horse.
No, that was good. I think that was, you put it together very well. But I'm like, sad because she was supposed to release this new album titled Sugar. Not Sugar. Sugar. And
I thought it was pronounced Suga.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And like I said, it's like she's a hot girl captain. Like summer's going to be coming up in just a few short months, and we need that hot girl summer music to turn up to. Like, so hopefully we hear back from this situation soon, because she says she literally can't drop new music until like this whole situation's figured out and settled. So if we don't hear any new music from Megan, then we know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is kind of standard for companies to take creative rights to your material within a certain time frame. Like even when I go to work at a company, I do marketing. When I go to work for a company, they reserve the right to all of the creative material that I make or come up with while I work for them and I'm on the clock for them. Like every time I go to a company, I double check. And I'm not saying that anyone should do this. I'm just saying this is what I do, because I'm in my experience, I've seen this frequently. Mm-hmm. I double check, like, do you guys claim ownership over every creative venture that I have? Because that's how this contract is worded, like that kind of a thing. And I just always double check because I'm paranoid like that. But also, I think it's good to ask questions of your employer so that they know that you're paying attention, regardless.
Right.
When you're 20 years old and you're just pumped to be getting a record deal, there's no way that you're thinking about asking that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Especially if you don't have enough support of people to encourage you to ask that question. But regardless, like I'm not super surprised that she's having a conflict with her record label. It's not as common as it used to be, like in the 60s and the 70s and even a little bit in the 80s. There's just like constantly all these famous artists moving around from label to label to label, and so there's always contract disputes. So thankfully that's lessened a little bit of late, but it's kind of unfortunate that Megan Thee Stallion is going through this particular thing, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people who would like to hear her music.
Right. Well, actually, like a really similar situation to this one occurred not that long ago with Taylor Swift.
Right.
Did you hear, like, in her Netflix documentary, she wasn't allowed to play any of her music or past music in that documentary.
Because the rights were owned by another company.
Right.
Before she signed to her own label, right? Before she started her own label. She's on her own label now, right?
I think so, yeah. I can't think of the exact label name right now.
No, I'm sure that she's got a couple artists on there too. So, yeah. But she's definitely an example of like another musician who probably went through something similar to what Megan Thee Stallion went through. So that definitely sucks.
I know.
So
we need that settled real quick, because like I said, I need new music. And speaking of new music, I'm going to mention to you guys this new album that just came out. It was definitely one of the most highly anticipated albums, not just in Latin countries, but also with some of the U.S. audience here as well. This is a genre that Keith and I have not touched on before on the show, mainly because I feel like there hasn't been an album or a new Spanish-speaking album out that like I really like and would recommend. And that is Badbunny's new album, and the acronym goes YHLQSMDLG. So that's the full name of his album,
which I fully expect you to explain
for sure
after this commercial break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
my goodness. Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Music Podcast. Sorry for that absurd noise you just heard right now. I don't know what that was. That just like kind of poked in and poked out.
Yeah, intermittent noise. I don't know what it was.
Right, I don't know either. We're gonna just like smooth right on past that, pretend like we didn't hear it.
Yes.
Like I mentioned in the previous segment, Bad Bunny's new album, acronym titled, or the acronym is YHLQSMDLG. So I'm going to tell you what that means. So in Spanish, here's your Spanish lesson, Keith. Listen up. Yo hago lo que se me dé la gana. And in English, that means...
That's a lot fewer words than I thought it would be. There's so many letters. I thought for sure it was going to be like a long sentence.
No, it's just like there's a lot.
Very succinct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yo hago lo que se me dé la gana. That means I can do whatever I want.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know who Bad Bunny is, I know there's some learners who are like, who are you even talking about? He is this like Puerto Rican Latin superstar. If you watch the Super Bowl, he came out during Shakira's performance.
I thought that was him. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure most of you have heard Bad Bunny, have seen him on TV, but not even realize it was him. He is, like I said, he's widely popular, not just amongst like the Latino community. A lot of my non-Spanish speaking friends, like white friends, listen to Bad Bunny. Like when this album came out, one of my very close friends, she's white, and she like immediately sent me the album, and like, mind you, she doesn't speak Spanish, but she loves Bad Bunny. And
I liked his music too.
Yeah.
It definitely seems accessible.
I think how you just said, like, his music is very accessible and inclusive to everybody. Like he even has said in like numerous interviews that's the whole point of like his music, and just like Latino music in general. Like our music just tends to be very open and inclusive, and it's made for everyone. And mainly it's due because our culture is derived from so many other cultures as well. It's like we're just a mix.
Well, if you look at the history of like that whole peninsula of Central America, like how many different places colonized there?
Right.
There was a lot of people that went, especially because of like modern day Panama. Like it's like one of the smallest like bridges between like the Atlantic and the Pacific. So like if you were shipping something prior to the canal being a thing, you shipped it there and then it went across that little portion. Because like trying to ship something from like eastern United States all the way over to California, like impossible. So they're definitely, it makes sense that and all those islands that are in the Gulf of Mexico, like
there's so many.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a mix.
There's no way that you're not going to run into a bunch of other cultures there. So it makes sense.
So his album is labeled, it's kind of like a mixture of like all different types of Spanish music. So we have like Latin trap, reggaeton, urban Latino music with like a few elements of rock and pop. Like his music kind of goes everywhere. And his album just dropped February 29th, so pretty recently as well. And like I said, you don't need to understand the Spanish lyrics to like his music. His music just makes you feel good. And that's why I love like listening to Bad Bunny with my non-Spanish speaking friends, because I just see also how they just enjoy literally the music. They're like, I don't even care what he says, but like, like his music is played in so many clubs, especially towards the end when, you know, the club's trying to wind down and kick everybody out. They start to play like this type of music. It's like still clubby, but not super hard hitting.
Yeah. It makes people feel tired.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's vibey in a sense. Some of the tracks. Some of my favorite tracks off this album were La Santa featuring Daddy Yankee. You know Daddy Yankee, right? He's the guy that sings Gasolina. That's like,
Gasolina?
Yeah. Me gusta la gasolina.
Everybody gasolina. Yeah.
Okay, that's Daddy Yankee.
Okay.
I used to have a crush on him, by the way, when I was like a toddler.
Wait, I mean, like you had a crush on things when you were a toddler?
Okay, not a
That's
toddler.
a little young.
Not a toddler, but like I was young, like 12, 11. Not a toddler, but like now I'm 24, almost 25. I call them my toddler years. And other favorite tracks off this album were 25-8, La Difícil, Bichillar. It's a pretty long project. There's 20 songs.
Yeah, that seems like to be the standard with a lot of like the hip hop or like more popular artists, it's basically like 20 singles on one record. They don't really do.
It's not like a collaborative project.
Yeah, well, I feel like Beyonce is really the only person who's still in the limelight who does like records with the intent of doing like an A to B or an A to Z rather record from start to finish.
Right. Not just like singles, put them all and like together.
Like
right.
That's what Drake does, is he basically just makes a glorified mix of
that's what singles. A lot of artists do. Most artists nowadays.
Which is fine. Like, I mean, hey, if that's what sells, that's what sells.
Right.
So.
And I want to also talk about Bad Bunny's latest performance and his latest look at his recent performance at the Tonight Show. And his outfit definitely made a statement in all the right ways. And for those of you who don't know Bad Bunny, he is gender fluid. He, you know, wears black nail polish. He dresses in very bright clothing, and especially he breaks like all the stereotypes of.
Yeah, he's very androgynous.
Right.
And I don't say that negatively. It's
right. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's one of the many other things that I really like about him as an artist is that he doesn't care what people think. And that's the whole title of his album, and that's why he named it. He's like, that he feels like right now in his life, in this prime time of his life, that's how he truly feels. Like he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't really need to respond to anybody. He can do whatever he wants with his music, with the way he looks.
Yeah.
And he truly embodies that. And in his latest or most recent performance, he came out in this, like pink blazer and then a heavily pleated black kilt. And then towards the end of his performance, he took off the blazer and it revealed like a graphic tee, and it read, I'll first say it in Spanish, then I'll translate in English. His t-shirt read, "Mataron a Alexa, no a un hombre con falda." And in English, that means they killed Alexa, not a man in a skirt. So that's a reference to honor a trans woman who was shot dead in Bad Bunny's native country, Puerto Rico, earlier this week. And the police report that they misgendered this trans woman as a man dressed in a skirt, which that still doesn't make sense as to, like, in the report it says like, oh, we were supposedly looking for this man in a skirt, and it was a hate crime pretty much, because in Latino culture, it tends to be very macho.
Conservative.
Right, very conservative. And
conservative in the actual sense of the word, not in the colloquial sense of the word. Like literally conservative, not as in like we're associating this with like a political party. It is literally a conservative culture.
Right, like, and like I said, for those of you who are like new listening to me, like I'm from this culture, so like I know like they still believe in very, you know, like the typical gender roles, like how women should stay at home and men should be the ones working, and then women shouldn't be going to school. I mean, that's more not so much in the U.S., more like in literal, like
in Puerto Rico,
in like Mexico and things like that. And our culture tends to be not super open to the LGBTQ community. And I mean, I used to live with my housemate. He was Mexican and gay, and he even told me that some of his family members didn't even know he was gay to this day, and he's 28, because of just how our culture tends to be. We're not very we don't respond too well, right?
It literally means like you follow the traditions that are set by the culture, and you're slow to change them, like,
right? So, and
it's just the way it is.
I just love that Bad Bunny is like totally opposite of that. Like he breaks all the conventional ways of like how Latinos think, and just by the way he dresses, and then especially by that look, you know, like he definitely wanted to send a message, and I think he did it right. And
not even on like a political commentary, and I'm not aware of the case by any means, but just the fact that there's an individual who's willing to portray themselves creates an opportunity for people to experience empathy and to think about life from the perspective of a different individual than them. And that's the only way that you're going to like change people to have a more loving attitude. It's not going to be by like forcing anything on anyone. It's by being yourself and inviting other people into that experience so that they can understand how you feel. And like that, I could tell like his music feels sincere. Just from the brief, the small amount that I've listened to. And if he's willing to like put that on TV, like he sincerely and passionately believes in this particular cause and that there was an injustice here. And I think that by being a conduit for discussion, it can solicit change, and that's a good thing, you know,
Absolutely.
Regardless of like political or social affiliations. Like it's important for us to take a look at what we think life should look like and decide whether or not that's really most beneficial for everybody. And the way that you make people do that is by doing what Badbunny is doing.
Right.
So
I just wanted to mention that about his latest performance because that was something that a lot of people were talking about.
Yeah, and they should be.
And again, he performed one of his like latest hits also in the Jimmy Fallon show, Ignorantes, which means ignorant.
Which is a great song.
You like it?
I enjoyed it.
It's like it's vibey, right? It's like a nice little tune, like chill, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So, Badbunny, again, you don't need to speak Spanish to enjoy the record. Like I said, many of my non-Spanish speaking acquaintances and friends enjoy his music, and I'm sure you guys will too.
Yeah. So, tell me more about the music that you picked for the rest of this week.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, mine? Okay, so the next one, you guys are going to be super surprised. This is an indie rock pick by me, but not really.
It's definitely by Cynthia. I would never pick this band.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
this artist, rather.
And it's Leyton Kramer. Glory is the album.
EP, technically.
EP. See, that's how you know that I picked it because I just try to confuse you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you're aware that he pretty much did the entire album by himself? So, like, a lot of the instrumentation
I knew that already.
Yeah.
I totally knew that. Like, he did the album by himself. I like the album cover art.
Yeah, I actually did too. That was part of the reason why I was drawn to it.
It reminds me of like Urban Outfitters.
Oh,
the aesthetic.
I'm like that. Urban Outfitters.
That looks like something that like how they have like the little posters there.
Yep. It does totally look like that. I am 100% in agreement with you on that. Yeah. You didn't actually pick this. I did.
No. I'm sure they got that.
It's a pretty short EP. Leyton Kramer doesn't have a very big discography. This particular EP released April of last year. So it's kind of like along those similar veins of like cosmic country that we talked about last week, but a little bit more indie rock, kind of like Cynthia mentioned. I really liked the entire record. I would recommend, especially the song "The Void."
I like that one.
Yeah, that was
very pleasant to listen to.
Kind of like Vampire Weekend meets earlier Tame Impala is how I would describe it.
I like how there was only like 4 songs.
Yeah.
Concise, to the point.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you don't need a full LP. And that pretty much covers it. There's not a ton to talk about with this guy just because there's not a bunch of information on him. Like, I don't even know how many listens he has per month on Spotify. I imagine it's not a ton. But he's like, I've been accidentally getting into artists that are primarily on Bandcamp lately. So like there just hasn't been a ton of information to talk about with them. And this guy he's just kind of like a singer-songwriter from, generally like the Americana region. So he's good. I definitely would recommend it if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're not into that kind of stuff, then like, I don't know, move on. Listen to something else. Don't just listen to it because I told you to. So, another one of my like recommendations for the week, which is what we kind of like to close the podcast out on, is like recommendations from either of us or album reviews.
Mainly Keith, because it's been kind of slow on my end. But there is a new album coming out this Friday, Jhené Aiko's.
Never heard of it. Or her,
Oh,
rather.
You probably have, but like you probably just don't recognize the name right now. But her album comes out this Friday, so for sure recommend that.
We'll talk.
I'm actually going to add
week.
In our notes, so be prepared.
Yeah, I will. I will listen to the whole thing too. But on notes of things that we're talking about this week, because it's this week, not next week. Next week on the 11th, March 11th. Yeah. Be ready for it. We're talking about this week. We're talking about Alaska. The record is The Dots. Alaska is a 6-piece band from England. They released this record in May of last year. It's their first full-length album, and it is described as a high-wire act combining jazz fusion, disco rhythms, and high-gloss art rock. That was literally, I copy and pasted that from the Pitchfork review, which, like, I don't get most of my music suggestions from Pitchfork. Like, they have good suggestions for, like, metal music and things like that, but as far as, like, indie rock or other things, I'm just not a huge fan of their taste usually. Mm-hmm. But they pretty much nailed it with the description on this one, so I just copy and pasted it. So
high gloss art rock.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Everybody who is on the record is involved in like a different aspect of the music industry over in Britain / England, whatever you want to call it. So there's like jazz players, there's some pop players, like there's just a bunch of different individuals from across genres. So it is a very like genre bendy record. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of saxophone, and most of the record you can dance to, which is pretty great. The record is pretty sensual, which I really enjoyed.
I got that.
Yeah, the energy on this record it just feels sensual and intimate. Especially on one particular track. And I think it's one of the best songs on the record is Sweat. And I like intentionally asked Cynthia to listen to this particular track because I liked it so much. So I really want to hear your thoughts.
So I like the lyrics, definitely sensual, like bedroom talk, I think, like almost like whispery. She was doing it. Yeah. But I feel like I liked the actual lyrics of the song, but maybe I just like couldn't connect to her voice because it was like so like, I don't even want to impersonate it. It's like slow and like soft and like high pitched.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know exactly how I would describe it. The song uses, and this is something that I thought they did really well. The parts where there isn't a ton of sound are incredible and used really effectively. So they use dynamics in the music to kind of like solicit a certain mood from their listener and solicit a certain like posture of the listener. Like, so like, you're like leaning in to hear the song, and like the lyrics are just like dripping with sensual.
Dripping.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Anyway.
Dripping.
Yeah.
It's not that like I didn't like it, but I wasn't super into it as you are. Maybe if I have to like listen to it, sometimes maybe it could be one of those songs where I have to listen to it like a few times. Yeah. Because I am like that with certain songs or music. I have to like listen to it like 2 or 3 times to really get the feel for it. Yeah.
Well, I don't remember when I first heard this. I think I was like driving late at night because I had started listening to the record earlier in the day, and then I went to a friend's house after I got off of work, and this song started playing on my way home. So it's like dark and quiet, and I'm in my car, right. And then this comes on, and it's just like
you were in that was a mood, right?
Yeah,
there.
It was just a mood. It was good. Mm-hmm. It was like, yeah, I don't know. I have this particular like place I go to when I'm just really jamming on a song, and that song just like really was good.
Did it right.
I really liked it. So anyway,
I get it.
You don't like it. It's fine.
No, I didn't say that. Anyway. I didn't say that.
The rest of the album is really good too. Several of these songs made it on to playlists that I have, so I definitely would recommend this one. I liked it a lot. It's probably one of the best records I've listened to all year so far.
Oh, wow.
And I've listened to probably about 20 records this year so far.
There you go.
So, yeah. I'm really looking forward to the new material from this band. Like I said, this one came out in May of last year, so hopefully we'll get something towards the end of this year, maybe a single or something like that. But it's pretty cool. So what did you think of what you listened to it, Cynthia?
We're still talking about the Dots or the next one?
No, we're talking about Dots still.
Dots. I liked Bees.
Yeah.
So Bees.
I figured you would.
Yeah. I liked that song a lot. I liked specifically this line. Hashtag relatable here. Fake it till you make it. Shake it, baby. Shake your money maker.
Yeah. Is that going to make it onto your workout playlist?
It is. I think so.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's just like, it's dancey. It's moving.
Dancey, right.
Yeah, like
movement.
Yeah.
Or like, fake, like I almost like hustle, like fake it till you make it, like shake your money maker, like gotta get that money.
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely.
So no, I liked it.
Yeah, you should listen to the rest of it if you get a chance.
Yeah, I think I need to listen to Sweat like a couple more times. Like, really, I think I need to get in the mood. Like, candle lit, lights turned off, chilling in my bed. Like close my eyes. Mm-hmm. So I need to be in the right mind state for that.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's good. but it's I don't know. The whole record is kind of like PG-13 to R rated for sure.
Yeah.
Especially that song.
Yeah.
So the last recommendation I've got for you guys this week, album we're going to kind of talk about, is a record by an artist named Marques Hill. This is titled Modern Flows Volume 2. There is a Volume 1, which is also very good in my opinion. Marques Hill is a jazz trumpeter and composer. He's a winner of the Monk Prize, which is an incredibly prestigious award in the world of jazz. He runs his own record label and has 5 of his own releases under his belt. This particular album released in 2018, and it's the 4th entry on that list of like 5 total records, but it's his 6th solo record. It's a jazz record, as would be indicated by the fact that he won a jazz award. But it really, which I was surprised.
I love jazz.
When you were like, "Ooh, this is jazz!" Like I'm eating in a seafood restaurant. Like I was like, "Whoa!" Like I did not expect you to like this. I thought for sure you'd be like, "This is boring."
No,
like,
I love jazz. I love
cool.
jazz. Again, it's like so relaxing and soothing.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, there's certain jazz that is definitely not that.
Yeah,
but like, it in a way, it still kind of
like
is.
This, I think it's a saxophone. Like I love the sound.
Oh,
of
then
the
you got to listen
saxophone.
to the rest of Alaska. Like the saxophone is heavily featured on that record. Anyway, back to Marques Hill. So this record features a ton of different artists across genres, and it includes a lot of different like musical and spoken word elements. It's really a good listen. Critics love it. There's a heavy emphasis on culture in Chicago and Black America. Marques Hill is from Chicago, so he's got there's just a lot of interesting things for him as an individual to make statements on, and for the other people who come onto the record to make statements on. I think there's a spoken word piece on the experience specifically of single Black mothers in America, and I thought that was really good. I don't know if I feel like it's pedantic for me to like talk about it in any particular way because I'm not a person who's involved in that community, but I just feel like when I get to experience art that accurately depicts someone else's human experience, it really helps me to like connect, understand, and empathize. And I think that when it's really good art, it does that even more. So I just really like connected with that song and felt like it was accurately portraying something that like I have no familiarity with, and that song gave me just like the tiniest bit of experience to be able to say like, oh, like I kind of understand this one person's perspective a little bit better. So I appreciated that. The record as a whole kind of like, it feels like it kind of opens individuals' minds. It feels very like explorative. So I definitely enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I liked a couple of the tracks that I got to listen to.
Yeah. Not for the same reasons, but
no.
Which is fine. It is objectively good music aside from its cultural commentary.
Right. I like some of the tunes. I don't know if it had a saxophone in it or not, but it reminded me of a Pink Panther scene. Like this jazz music is like what you would hear typically in a scene of Pink Panther. I forgot what song exactly I was listening to, but I also liked Smoke Break, which starts out hilariously. They're like chatting and then you hear a lighter and then it goes into the song. It's pretty cool. Right. I like Smoke Break as definitely a mood, a vibe, a tone, a way of life. I'm kidding. But no, I definitely like Smoke Break. Like, so no, I'm up to listen to Modern Flows. Like it's even in the name, like Modern Flows. Like it's just, like, it's definitely cool. I want to be in like my sister who likes Beyonce liked it. So really, your sister and I have exquisite taste. Okay, we need to become friends. But Modern Flows, I feel like it's like an album. I need like a glass of wine. I need to wrap myself in a like satin robe and just like lay there with your like essential oil humidifier next to you. My salt lamp, my Himalayan pink salt lamp. Oh yeah, and like incense. Right, all of that. I got a sage, just like sage. The spirits out. It's a good record. You should check it out and do whatever you want to while you listen to it. I think I enjoyed this album the most. I would, yeah. Or out of all your picks, it's probably more my jam. Yeah, well, and it definitely is. Like, if you're into good music at all, then this is like objectively just a good record, and I would highly recommend it. So, period. That about covers it for me this week.
So
we covered a lot.
We did.
Per usual. We got Megan Thee Stallion. She's held captive. We got
Badbunny.
We got Badbunny. He's doing whatever he wants,
which is great. And then we got Leyton Kramer, who's just a good singer-songwriter, liked his lyrics, so I wanted to mention him on the show. And then Alaska, they're super cool. They're from England. And Marques Hill, jazz trumpeter from Chicago. So definitely some stuff to listen to for you guys this week. Let us know in the comments what you think of it. Like and subscribe. Add us on Twitter.
Share.
All that good stuff. Share. Yes. Tell your friends. Tell your mom.
Your goldfish.
Your goldfish. Yeah, your goldfish would love this podcast. So anyway, I think that's all we got for this week.
Yes. We wish you guys all a very happy and successful week. And catch Keith and I here again for another music episode.
Next week.
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, next week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.